Well, hello. Thank you for joining me. This is Antoinette Marie Williams of Purpose Living with Antoinette Marie Speaks. And I am so glad that you have decided to join me on today. Today is a very beautiful and special day. But before we get into it, you know what we do. I'll be right back. Hello, beloved. This is Antoinette Marie. I believe that every one of us is born with a purpose. No matter who you are, what you do, or how far you think you have to go, you have been tapped by a force greater than yourself to step into your God-given calling. And I also believe that each one of us has an essential role in the whole of humanity. You see, the purpose of me creating Antoinette Marie Speaks is to offer the wisdom of experience from visionaries, artists, teachers, and trailblazers who have walked this road before you and who have shared their inspiration and lessons with me. So let's go. Let's take this journey together and let's discover the purpose for your life on this earth. This is Antoinette Marie Williams. So welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So I am Antoinette Marie Williams of Antoinette Marie Speaks. And today we are speaking about purpose living. And I want to tell you, I'm very excited about my guest on today. This is a woman that is just beautiful, like a beautiful flower, just like a beautiful flower. And she's going to talk a little bit about her purpose. Her name is Michelle Hardy. Yay! And she is dynamic. And I'm very, very proud and very, very honored for her to accept this invite to be our guest today here on Purpose Living. I'll tell you what, there's nothing like knowing what God has brought you on this planet to do. But the greatest thing is doing it. It's doing it. So let's get right into what we are going to be talking about and who we're talking about it with. Let me bring in Miss Michelle Hardy from our beautiful green room. Well, hello, Michelle. Well, how are you, beloved?
Oh, just very good on this Sunday. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I am so
Mm.
glad that you're doing well. And as always, you have the beautiful flower in your hair. We love it. We love it. We love it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So, today, what I want to do, and I want to first say thank you for agreeing to be on Purpose Living. I knew that I wanted you on here because you were a part of the inspiration for me, even setting this up in the way that I've set it up. And so I want to say I appreciate you and your insight. And thank you very much for being a trailblazer. A trailblazer. So let's
Mm.
get into it. So tell us a little bit about yourself and who is Michelle Hardy?
Well, I am a mom first, right?
Mhm.
But basically, and it's not really basic, when I think about it. I'm a philanthropist and an author, an inspirational speaker, and a producer of a show that you've been on, Proof, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm all of those things. And so my journey that God has put me on this path has brought me to all of that, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So just those are titles,
Yeah.
but basically, I'm a giver, you know,
Mhm.
and that's all I do is random acts of kindness in some form or fashion. Okay, that's what God has me doing here is to give without ceasing every
Mm.
every day. Yeah, that's all I'm supposed to do. And I would have never thought that you could monetize giving,
Mm.
because it just sounded like, like, ooh, I don't want that on my skin. What kind of lotion you got? Oh no, no, that's not the one for me, right?
Mhm.
So because in my giving, I would give. And for me, I like things to be wrapped beautifully or what have you. And people say, oh, you can sell that. And I'm like, no, I'm just giving it to you, you know.
Mhm.
And it would offend me because
Mhm.
it's just like I'm supposed to be giving. And how can you charge someone for giving? Right. And so I didn't really understand the whole concept of people will help you give to God's people,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that it just didn't click for me initially. And I've been giving for years, in some way, even as a kid. I was
Mhm.
giving, and my parents enlisting my parents. Well, so and so doesn't have blah 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 blah, but we want to go skating, and all of us need money to go, So I'm
Mhm.
doing it in
Mhm.
that way, or
Mhm.
can we give them this, or they need a ride, and then my parents just go along with it, but as far back as I can think, I've
Mhm.
been doing that in some type of way where let's help them, you know,
Mhm.
let's help
Mhm.
help the people, help somebody. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's wonderful. I think it's admirable that you have been it's almost in your pedigree, to do what you are doing. And so that was your intro of who you are. So tell me this and tell the audience this. What do you believe is your purpose
To give,
to give?
to to give, right? However it is, you know, if somebody passes away, okay, let's do something. Um,
Mhm.
you know, if and it's not always bad,
Mhm.
someone needs food, or it's a birthday, or
Mhm.
celebrate, or you have a book or what have you. Well, I want to support you in that. I can remember a time where I didn't have any money, but I wanted to support this person. I think I had $5. Okay, well, you don't have anything that's $5, but I really want to give you something, you know. So here's the $5, and maybe that'll help you do something, or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's all I'm supposed to do. I Whatever I have, I give it. Whatever's in my bag, in my satchel, I give it. And
Mhm.
wherever spirit tells me to do it, if I'm at the drive-through, okay, and spirit says give this person a random act of kindness, okay.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me why, like, how did it all come about that you understood that your purpose on this earth was to be a giver? So we heard what you said about, like, at the beginning, and you would have friends that would come over when you were younger, and you would talk to your mom and just be like, can they stay or can we help them in that? Well, talk to us, like, even on, like, if we do a deeper dive, why do you
Mhm.
believe that God has sent you here to be like an ambassador of giving, the giving guru?
Right. Well, okay, so there's kind of a couple of things, but like I said, I've been giving for years, just doing random acts of kindness. And I had written this story years ago, and so it's a book now, Mrs. Eel's Basement of Beautiful Magical Things. So, but it was just a short story. And at one time, I didn't have any money. So, what was I going to give at Christmas time with no money, right?
Mhm.
So, I went into this thrift store, and I was leaving out, and under the little glass counter, there were these cups. Well, in my story, Mrs. Eel's Basement of Beautiful Magical Things, were these same cups. And then Spirit says, you can give people your story and the cups. And so I
Mm.
did that and I wrapped it beautifully. And I did that at Christmas time. And they loved it, my family and my friends. So as I met people on my journey, I would just give them the story and then give them a cup. And
Mm.
then the spirit says, well, what else can you give, right? So I just started digging deeper into my story. And oh, you can give fine linen, and oh, you can give a brooch or what have you, so I would go to the thrift stores and I would find these things to give, right,
Mhm.
with whatever the store. And then I would do that for years and years. And then um someone said write a book, and I'm like, well, what else am I going to write about? Well, I'm like, I don't know. So one day I was in my office and this lady calls me and she starts talking about the story and how I had given her the gift. And she said, it's so beautiful that you go around giving out the things that the lady had given you. Because in the story, it's a little girl and an elderly lady, and the elderly woman gives the little girl her things: silver, brooches, ticking timepieces. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. It's just
Mhm.
the woman's house is just consumed with these things. But she gives the little girl these things. So the lady that called me, I didn't bother to correct her, but it made me start thinking because the story was fictional, right?
Oh.
The story was fictional. It's not like, I just made the story up,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So I made the story up. And so when this lady calls me after I've been doing this random act of kindness and passing out my story, and she says that, I didn't correct her, but it just made me think like, is there somebody, in your life? And there was a lady that I had met on my journey. So I write this story. There's this lady that I met that it didn't even dawn on me. This lady that I had in my own life, right? That she
Uh-huh.
came along and she was giving me those things. And I never put it together till this lady called my office and said,
Wow.
hey, and I just thought, well, my story is fictional, but I'm just like, I did have a lady in my life that did do that for me.
So the story kinda was fictional, but really not.
It's not because it's like what I wrote, it manifested in my own
Yeah.
life. And I didn't, and somebody made me aware of it. So the real lady was
What?
giving me silver and she was giving me brooches and
There
tiny
you
pieces,
go.
stuff from her childhood. I had to stop the lady from giving me the stuff. It was just too much. I said, I don't have nowhere to put this stuff.
Yeah.
In in my story, the fictional story, the real lady dies and she gives the little girl the things, you know,
Mhm.
it's the beautiful and the magical, right?
Mhm.
The real lady, my real lady died. She
Mm.
died. And the way that I wrote it in the book is the way that I found out in my real life about the real lady. So the little girl, the lady dies, right? Somebody tells her that the lady dies. Somebody walks up to me and tell me that my real lady died, right? So
Mhm.
it's like, as you speak it, as you write it, so
Yeah.
shall it be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just like, so then when I was writing the book, it's like, well, what are you going to write about? It's like, okay, well, this story started coming true for you. So, okay, well, just write about your life and this stuff, right? So the rest of the things, the book started being my own personal life, right? Things that
Mhm.
had happened in my life, right? So it's just kind of like, be careful what you say because
Yeah.
it will come true for you.
Mhm.
Okay?
Mhm.
And then when I think at my own personal life, I can think of something, I can say something, and then it won't happen. So I
Yeah.
have to be mindful, right? I have
Yeah.
to be mindful of what I think, how I operate, because all of that stuff will happen. You know?
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's very powerful And sometimes, it's just like, okay, Michelle, don't think nothing because this whole thing will be shut down. Their whole thing. Okay, they're not operating right in business, but let's just believe that they're gonna get it right. It'll be
Yeah.
like that. So yeah. So I
Yeah.
yeah.
I think what's so powerful too is like what you said, you know, we have to, with our own consciousness, we have to be so careful what we think about ourselves and what we speak out of our own lives because we have the power of our own lives, right? And
Mhm,
so I think it's amazing that, and I've heard your story before, but I think now, like when you're saying like it was fictitious, I always thought that it was the here and now, like that was real, like that's what happened really to you. And so to
mhm,
be able to see like something came to your head and you did it fictionally with your book, but
mhm.
then when someone else came to you and said, wait a minute, is that really fictional or is that really not? And
Yeah.
us, sometimes we don't even know that things are happening because we are so much, sometimes we're not as in tune to ourselves as we should be, and
Mhm.
we're in tune to external things. And then I'm so glad that that person said, wait a minute, isn't this happening to you? And then you caught that thing and was like, wait a minute, this is happening, this did happen to me. And I think
Yeah.
that that's the beautiful part of just life. I think that's the beautiful part of just living in purpose and with purpose.
Mhm.
I think it's beautiful. So my next question is this: so as you are giving, so you're called the giving guru, which I think that's beautiful. So as you're giving, and showing acts of kindness to individuals, what has been some of the responses from other people that you've given things to? Like, what have they, like once you give something away, what do people say, or do people then pay it forward, or what kind of happens? Give us a good story behind that.
It's all of that, right? The get paying it forward, um, but crying, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, the crying because something that I gave them reminded them of
Mm-hmm.
something in their life, right? One of my
Mm-hmm.
good best friends, I went to her house and I took the story, and that was before I had the book, and I took beautifully wrapped, teacup and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell her the story. So when I do storytelling, I'm actually telling people the initial story that I wrote. That's what
Okay.
I do, right? And you've heard that before, I think,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So I tell my friend this story, then I say, okay, open the gift, right? So
Mm-hmm.
she opens it. She just weeps and she's just crying. And I mean, heaving, crying, like, oh my God. The same teacup, the teacup that I gave her. This is the teacup that me and my friend Laura used and when we were 7, and we used to use our pinkies and we used to go like that and sip the tea, and Laura died in a car accident. Laura died.
Mm.
So all of that brought up all of that for Laura and her having tea, and Laura died in a car accident. So she never saw Laura again. But that same teacup that they used when they were little, I gave it to her. And so it just
Mm.
brought up all of that.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So, times like that. Or my mom, she had this friend, he's passed on now, but he was in the military. And so I said, oh, you can give your friend a random act of kindness or whatever. So the teacup, a little ticking timepiece that had veteran on it, right?
Oh,
Wrapped it up
nice.
beautifully. And so I didn't know that he was in the military. And I didn't know that he used to be in the military. She said, Michelle, she said, he will not shut up about this. And then so we went to the church picnic. Oh my gosh. And he's just going on. I just want to let you know. And I'm just like, okay. But I didn't know any of that. And
Wow.
that's how um I just put what spirit says to put, And then sometimes, I'll just do a lot of if I'm going to like somewhere where I know it's a lot of people and I don't know which one I'm giving the person because in each one is something different, right? In the
Mhm.
little box or the teacup or whatever. And
Mhm.
some people will just, like, especially the kids, they'll just run up to me and hug me tight. And I'm just like, okay, oh my God. And they needed that, you know,
Yeah.
they needed that. Or this reminded me of my grandma when I used to go to my grandma's house or whatever. Oh,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
beautiful because you
Mm,
are really showing the love of God and through random acts of kindness, and you never really know how impactful you can be just by doing what God has told you to do. You know, I heard somebody say a lot of times when people give, whether it's giving of themselves, time, money, whatever it is, something material, people are always looking for the impact, like people's facial expressions and what are they going to say or what are they going to do. And sometimes, all the time, I would say, that's not really what God is telling us to do. If He says, hey, give, then you just give it and not sit and like, I wonder what are they going to think about this? Because then it's not
mhm,
really about the gift, it's about how you feel from the
mhm,
gift that you just gave. And
right,
so I love the fact that as you give, just being authentic in that. And then, like this thing, you giving and understanding the purpose behind you giving, who came up with the giving guru? Like, who came up with that name?
right. Somebody gave me that name. Okay, so I knew I was on this journey. I did the book. The guy who took the pictures for the book, he was like, "You need a name or something." I'm just like, "I don't know. I'm Michelle Hardy, whatever." He said, "But there's something about what you're doing."
Yeah.
Because before we even started, I told him the story, just so he could
Hmm.
get an idea of what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, the Giving Guru." And then
Hmm.
he said, "Oh, give without ceasing." And I just took those, and I said, okay. So when I do my little hashtags, I do that, the giving group. And it's just like, he put that on me. He made me aware. He's like the lady made me aware of, okay, this is
Yeah.
he gave me that too. So this journey has been just people making me aware of stuff or, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't it beautiful how God uses other people to push us into our purpose and our destiny? And
Hmm.
I always tell people, like, we need one another. Like, you would have never, I won't say never, but I think that it's God is always intentional about who gave you that name. Why that gentleman? I don't know.
Right.
And who, why then? I don't know. And
Hmm.
then the woman that had such an influence, who was the giving individual to you, why her? I don't know. But
Yeah.
what I do know for sure is that we all are part of this great pomegranate. All those little pieces that's in there, we are all a part of this together, and I
Mhm.
think it's beautiful. I love the name, the Giving Guru. I remember when I first heard that, and I think it was Carrie, Irene Crosby, was when I first heard that name, and I said, who? And she's like, Michelle Hardy, the Giving Guru. And I was like, the Giving Guru. Oh my goodness. Sometimes some names just pop, and I was like, the Giving Guru. Oh my goodness. And then I saw your picture, and I was like, oh yes, that is she. And then that you got to talk to us about, you know, the flower. So talk
Mhm.
to us about the significance of the flower that you wear in your hair.
Right. Well, I love wearing the flower. Look, but yeah, I love wearing the flower.
Hmm.
Um, you know, Niecy Nash used to
Hmm.
wear a flower,
Yeah.
and Lola Falana wore a flower, right? And so I was just like, oh, that's cute. So I would wear it every now and then, right?
Hmm.
And so when I was designing my book, um, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna have a flower on the little girl, right?"
Hmm.
No. Um, So that's that. But then it's just like, okay, you can't go without this flower. This flower is just becoming you, you know. So if I leave the house without the flower, I gotta have a flower in my car, at my desk. I cannot. And if you see me without the flower, this lady, another different lady, she came into the my office and she kept saying, "Where's the flower?" Right? And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta have this flower." So that's, I better keep flowers everywhere. And because I said she gonna ask me, and then I'm gonna feel bad about not having the flower. So the
Mhm.
lady died, right? That
Okay.
lady passed away, right?
Uh-huh.
Sharon Robinson, right? And somebody called me and told me Sharon had passed away.
Mm.
So Sharon Robinson. So if you see me without this, well, where's Sharon Robinson?
Oh, so that's
So
the name of the flower. Your flowers are called
Sharon,
Sharon Robinson?
so whatever
Sharon.
flower, just where's Sharon Robinson at? And that will let me know, oh girl, I didn't put my flower in today,
Oh.
I didn't put her in there. Like, oh, so I name my flowers Sharon Robinson. So whatever one it is, it could be yellow, it could be, whatever. But yeah, just in honor of her,
Mhm.
um, because she would always ask me about it. And yeah, and I mean, I was sad that she had passed, but
Yeah.
she would ask me every time. And it's like, and I know, like when I see her, I'm like, oh my God, I don't have the flower today. But it evolved into this thing,
Yeah.
so, on my book cover, like my next book, right?
Mhm.
There's the flower,
Oh, I
with the
see.
flower. Yeah. And so that little girl started turning into be me, too, as well. Yeah.
So it's beautiful
Mhm.
because there's like an evolution, like evolving, like you're evolving in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's talk a little bit about the books. So
Mhm.
talk to us about what inspired you to not just write one book, but multiple books,
Mhm.
and tell us the names and all of that good stuff.
Right. So, okay. So, my first one that you know about is the Mrs. Ill's Basement of
Mhm.
Beautiful Magical Things. And you know that story,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, you know how that panned out. Then, I was writing, you writing during the pandemic or what have you, and, just poems here, what have you. And so I was like, this is becoming a collection of things,
Mhm.
and things that I had written and not really shared with people. And then some of my past writing that
Mhm.
I had that just kind of been sitting, and not a lot of people knew that I had written stuff before. So
Mhm.
I put all that together, right? And that book is called The Algorithm, right?
Yes, and I have that book.
Okay, yeah. So it's a collection of poems and short stories and just a variety of things, but it's unapologetic. I'm not saying sorry for anything that I said,
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's kind of edgy, It's
Mhm.
not for the little kids, right?
Mhm.
Yes. So there's that. And the algorithm, is just the equation of life's complexities. It's just like, okay, well, this is how it is.
Yeah.
It's just like this is in the street. It's almost in the gutter. What?
In that book, you were like, "This is what it is."
What it
TIS.
is? Yes. So there's that. Then and I'm in a group, in a cohort. I stay in a cohort where I'm always working on my goals. So
Okay.
there's always some kind of book, right? So this last time, because it goes for like either 3 or 6 months. So this last time I was working on 4 books, right? So another one is the Giving Satchel, which I'm getting ready to,
Nice.
announce today, right? So
Yay.
after we get off this call, I'll be announcing. And this is a children's book. So
Yeah.
in my coaching, um, not the cohort, but I had coaching with K through 12 educators And they were like, Michelle, you need a children's book, right? Because Mrs. Eel's Basement was so a little bit more grown up. So they were like, you need
Mm.
a children's book if you're really trying to. So that's how this came out. It's really just an extension of Mrs. Eel's Basement. And
Okay.
it's basically just showing giving. And, I can go and talk to younger children or whatever, maybe second grade or younger, right? And do
Uh-huh.
story, right? So that's what this is about. Um,
Nice.
and then I have another book, of collaboration, which is Hunger for the Hustle. And that's about 30 other authors from around the world. I was asked to be a part of that. So that's basically telling about me and the story that I just shared with you about how things just kind of unfolded,
Yeah.
And then here we are, right? So that will go to charity to a school in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, so the givingcircle.org, that will go to them and then they help the children, right? So
Wonderful.
that, and then I have two more books, Letras, which is letters in Spanish or maybe French, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's some letters that I found and they cost me $7, but they're very valuable, right? So I found
Okay.
these letters, and they were from like 1849 to like 1934. So they're very endearing letters of this lady and this man. They were writing to each other, right? Because that's what they did,
Mm.
right? And so the man passed away, and then her son continues to write to her, right?
Oh.
Right, but it's just like the same things that we deal with, they dealt with, right?
Yeah.
And there's talk about Jews and Gentiles and the shortage of water and the relationship they had, which was the things that we do now that we would fight about, they just casually talked about, you
Hmm.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And back then it was a different time where, like I said, water and food was short and they had land and they tilled the land and they did all of that, and you were matched with someone, right? That you
Mm-hmm.
didn't even
Mm-hmm.
like, but you were matched with that person. So all of that is in these letters that, I've transcribed. And so then I'll have my own commentary for the letters, right?
Okay.
That's coming. And then another book is the 100 Ways to Give Without Ceasing, right?
Okay. I
So
love that.
so for each way, I'll have a little story, right? So
Yeah.
those are the two that I'm working on, but the others are basically complete.
Wonderful. So tell me this, like, so you have, from one author to another, I know that it takes, you have to be what I call in the zone, to write, and particularly because if it's not about your story, you know,
Mhm.
it's different because you have to write in a different way, right? And so you have like a children's book, then you have, like, in my head, you got a mystery book, particularly with the letters,
Mhm.
you're crossing genre, you know and I think that that's so dynamic, and I don't even hardly see people do that. So where is all that coming from? And if there was a person that was out there saying, wow, I really want to write a book about my life, where
Mhm.
where from your experience of having now almost 5 books, where should they start in that
Mhm.
process?
Right. Well, I know you said a whole bunch, right? So yeah, yeah, to start, okay. Um, I just say get it down, right? However you can get it
So just
down.
write it,
You can write it if
type
you know
it.
how to type, if you got to talk into, recorder, whatever. My coach, he did everything on his phone. He typed his book on his phone because he didn't
Mm,
have a laptop, right?
okay.
So, however you can get it down, and it doesn't have to be grammatically correct
Hmm.
or making a whole bunch of sense. It makes sense to you. So then you have somebody for every part, right? So the parts that you don't know how to do, don't worry about, oh my God, I can't type. Oh my God, I don't know how to talk. I talk like I'm this way, and I
Hmm.
really want to sound smart, or whatever, right? Don't worry about all of that. because there's a person for every part. And
Mm.
so everybody considers their book a baby. This is my baby,
Yeah.
and then these are my secrets. And if I let my secrets out, somebody's going to be mad. I don't worry about none of that.
Yeah.
I lose all of that. All of that goes out the door because this is me. This is my thing. This whole thing is about Michelle and
Mhm.
what makes Michelle happy. So then I say, okay, my baby has to go stay at somebody else's house, right?
Mhm.
For a little
Mhm.
bit. So I send the baby, can you babysit my baby? Can you edit it for me? Can you make it make sense? Can you make me sound smart because I don't feel like I'm smart and all of that, right?
Mhm.
Can you make it look pretty? Because I don't know how to use the computer and I want to make it look pretty. Okay, there's a person for that. Okay, now I need to print it. Okay, there's somebody for that too, right? So there's stages and you do it in stages. When I did Mrs. Eel's basement, I
Mhm.
did it in stages because why? I wanted it to be color pictures inside. You took these color pictures, but now you're going to put them in there black and white? No. You say, okay, it's going to cost this much. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer so I can do that part, right? Yeah. So every little part, you just
Mhm.
stages. You send it over to auntie's house to babysit.
Mhm.
Or my cousin's going to watch the baby for,
Mhm.
whoever, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, what I want to say to people, individuals that are listening to us and they have a story, whether it's about their own personal journey with whatever it is, or
Mhm,
something that is has a different genre, something that is fiction, you can do it. You can do it. And if you want more information, please reach out to Michelle Hardy. Her last name is spelled Hardy. She is the giving guru. She is on social media, and reach out to her. Reach out to her, and maybe you all can get together and she can show you the steps, the process of being able to do it,
mhm,
because you can do it. You can do it. I know that I have heard many people say, wow, I really have a book that I want to write, but it's fiction. I think that's great for you to be able to write a fictional book. And there are all types of books. There are books, well, some people, they call them pocket books, not your purse, y'all.
mhm.
A
Right.
pocketbook fits
Yeah.
in your pocket. Okay. So you can have that. You can have a book that is 300 pages. If that's the route that you want to go, you can have sequels. You can have all kinds of books that are out there. You just have to start. And I love what Michelle has said about, even if you can't type really fast, or you don't know where the home keys are, then get you a recorder and start to record what you want people to know. You can do that. And she was saying how some one of her mentors did an entire book on his phone. That's amazing. That is amazing. So no more limitations. You don't have to put limitations on yourself. If you want to get it done, I say go ahead and get it done. And so, Michelle, at the end, we'll give out some of your information, and whether if you have a website or something, or wherever you want people to be able to contact you. And I'm gonna say to people, listen, I love y'all, but I don't do what Michelle Hardy does. She is the giving guru, right? That's one. And she is an author. That is two. She understands that process. Michelle, who publishes your content?
So I self-publish basically through Amazon or using a private printer,
Okay.
right? So but Amazon makes it easier for you to print at a low cost and then you can get your author copies and then you can sell them yourself,
So
right?
did y'all hear that part? She self-publishes. Antoinette Marie does not self-publish. So don't come to me asking me, how do I get? I'm going to say, you know how you do it? Go to Michelle Hardy. And Michelle Hardy can coach you and teach you and show you how to do it, whether it's through Amazon, which is that's where she goes. But let me tell you something. I think this is really great content. It's really great information, above and beyond what we even thought whenever I did this purpose living. Like, she's giving you great platinum nuggets here. So there is no more excuses of, I don't have enough content. I don't know how, I don't know where. You can do it. And I know somebody's already, because I feel them like right back here. Right back here, people are always asking, well, how much does it cost to go? I don't have the money. I don't have the resources, but I have a book in me. What would you say to those people, Michelle?
Right. So, like I said, I did my first one in stages, but then it's just it gets easier as you go on. So you're not spending as much money once you know where to go. Then
Yeah.
you just plan for that particular thing, right?
Yeah.
And you can have as many books as you have in your mind. You can print them as fast as you can print them. If you learn how to do just KDP with Amazon, it doesn't cost you anything. So you
What's
have to,
KDP for the audience?
KDP is an affiliate of Amazon. So that's how you get your books on Amazon, right? So, and then once they've put it there, then they will allow you to order your author copies, which can be as low as like $2.65,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have your book in your hand, depending on the pages and if there's color or whatever. Say you just have a standard black and white book, it could be $2.65 per copy. And you say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I'm just starting out. I don't have that much money. Let me just order a few and then whatever. But you can also say you get your book on KDP, which is not really hard. I have somebody do that part for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can you can pre-sale your book.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still not costing you anything.
Listen, Michelle, we gonna stop them right here. We're not gonna give them all of it. We just not. We're not gonna give.
Well, that you know, and I don't mind telling people that because I mean
Yeah.
it's not it's fine to know that you know
Mm-hmm.
I'm the giving guru, so yeah, it doesn't hurt me to tell people that
Yeah. And I
pre-sale
get
your
that.
book. Yeah,
Yes. And I
yeah.
get that. And I think that it's remarkable that you are so open to show people the process.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times that's what people are missing. They're missing how to do the process, how to understand what the process is. And so by you being the giving guru, only reason why I stopped you is because I have a couple of more questions.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
so my
yeah.
so my next question to you is this: with everything that you do, with giving, to individuals, to being an author, to being a storyteller, just being a fab woman, how do you enjoy your everyday life and doing and being and living in your purpose? Like, how do you enjoy the small things in life with
Right.
everything that you're doing?
I know. You know, I was just telling cousin Carol, TC,
Mhm.
I was just telling her that my life is consumed with purpose.
Mm.
It's, you know, and when I look at Maya Angelou, I thought her life was consumed. And I see my life like that. I don't see my life any other way. So I wake up with purpose.
Yeah.
You go to sleep with purpose, right?
Mhm.
So everything is purpose. My
Mhm.
girlfriend said, "Oh, your hair is so cute." I said, "Girl, this is all purpose." You know, I said it's all purpose. When you see me in the cute, colorful outfits, I'm at the grocery store with the cute, colorful outfit. It's purpose. Why? Because somebody's walking up to me and saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I like your whole thing and your flower." And
Yeah.
I even have a mask with a flower on it. Oh, thank you. I do random acts of kindness and I do storytelling and I speak in the classroom.
Yeah.
Purpose. Even my clothes. Okay. I don't need to wear that because why? I need to have clothes for purpose.
Are you enjoying yourself? Like, so last question, maybe it won't
Hmm.
be the last question. As you live in purpose every single day, and I always say to individuals, purpose is a lifestyle. It's not an act. It's not
Hmm.
what you put on. It's
Yeah.
not like what some people, we wear the mask and then we take the mask off at night.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people that are very purposeful,
Hmm.
but don't necessarily enjoy living in that purpose. They find it sometimes hard, or it comes with anguish.
Hmm.
What is one of the things that you've had on your bucket list that you see yourself doing in the next 12 months, in the next year? Do you have a bucket list? And what do you see yourself doing and enjoying it, having fun? What do you do for fun, Michelle Hardy? What is it?
Right. It still has to do with purpose.
There you go.
It's an event and it's called black tie. That's just where my mind goes. When I
Mm-hmm.
wake up, God gives me an idea every morning. God gives me something. So my
Mm-hmm.
phone is like on the floor. I just pick it up and I just put it in there really quick. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I used to sleep with a pencil and paper, right? It'd be right here, like, okay, and I'd be in the dark.
There's nothing wrong with that. I
Yeah.
still from time to time do that, particularly as a dreamer or a seer. You got to write. You be have your
Right.
eyes closed, and you're like, if I open up my eyes, I may not remember what's happening. I still just want to be in that. I understand it.
Yeah, yeah. It's so, yeah. The first thing I thought was, okay, yeah, I'm doing an event next year called Black Tie. That
Okay, well, tell us about this event.
so it's a fundraiser for
Uh
my nonprofit,
huh.
and so I love Thai food. Right, I love Thai food. So infusing Thai with Black food or maybe African food,
Uh
right?
huh.
And I like being fancy and dressing up and stuff. So everybody dress up. Yes, go get you an outfit. Don't be saying, "Oh, I'm gonna wear." No,
You
bring
mean,
it.
Michelle? You mean we can't wear no leggings?
Look, bring your look. Go out and buy outfits. Okay, be fancy as you can be, and come and celebrate. Enjoy the food. So there will be a chef. There will be
Okay.
an artist and there will be a curator to make it all fancy,
Now,
right?
where is this going to be? What state? What city? You got to let
Oh,
us know, because we got High Vibe coming next
right.
year.
No, no, it's early, the earlier part of the year, right?
Okay.
So I'm in the planning processes, yeah. But my intention is to have one in different cities. So Oakland, Los Angeles, and Sacramento, California, which is where I'm from, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. So I just have little black ties and then have a big fundraiser for my nonprofit, michellehardy.org, right? So yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Oh, keep going, Michelle.
Yeah, so that's basically the concept is bringing people together to enjoy the food that I enjoy, but
Mm-hmm.
raising funds for me to go into the classrooms and give to the children, give to the people. I mean, it doesn't have to be children. I mean, it could be adults, it could be college, but giving to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because when sometimes when you go into a classroom, they cannot afford the books sometimes,
Yeah.
or to bring a storyteller there, or you've experienced my live auction, right? You've
Mm-hmm.
experienced
Mm-hmm.
that. So I do that as well. So then I bring prizes, I bring cookies from my mom, I just do all these awesome things in the classroom. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there's not funding for that.
Yeah.
So, in order for the students to have books, my books about giving,
Mm-hmm.
and to experience the auction and just teaching them about that, I need to raise money to do that, so I can
Absolutely.
travel and do that. Right, even
Mm-hmm.
online, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It still takes money to if the kids win stuff on auction, I need to be able to mail it to the children. Right,
Yeah.
needs to be funding for that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And listen, so we just put up, for those of you that are just joining us, We just put up michellehardy.com. That is her nonprofit. Did I do it right, Michelle?
It's .org.
Oh, it's .org. Listen, one
Yes.
of the things that we do here, listen, thank you for letting me know that. That is right, because it's a nonprofit. I got you.
Yes.
.org.
Yes.
So some of you have just joined us. That's good, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
So some of you have just joined us, and I have the beautiful, dynamic Michelle Hardy, and she has been giving us some dynamic information, not just about her life, but as the giving guru, how that all came about. She's talked a little bit about her love just for giving, stem from being even a small kiddo, a small child. She spoke about several of her books. I think there's about 5 of them. Listen, go to www.michellehardy.org. You can get all that information. And she is an author that is intertwine different genres. Like if you want something that is about with a child's book, she got that for you. If you're looking for something that has a little bit of suspense, I'm waiting on that letter one. She got something for you. Listen, this woman, God has created her to do great and dynamic things. And so one of the things that we do here on Purpose Living with Anntoinettemarie is that we want to be able to congratulate that, but we also want to be able to help push michellehardy.org to that next level. So this woman is an author, she's a storyteller, she's a giver, she owns a nonprofit, or she founded a nonprofit. She's already talking about the black tie. Now, I love that name because when you said black tie, I love a party. That's
Yeah.
one of the things. I love a party. I love to get dressed up. Yum, 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 yum,
Yeah.
yum,
Yeah.
yum, 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 yum. I love that. But when you said black tie, you mean THAI.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness. I
Mm.
love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Save me a seat at the VIP table. I need to be
Right.
at the VIP table. If you need a
There we go.
speaker, let me know. If you need a host, michellehardy.org, let me know. I will
Come
be
through.
there in the house. We're going to get it
Yeah.
and still love God and still going to have a really magnificent time. So
Yeah.
today we have again been speaking about purpose living, and I'm so greatly proud of you and what you are doing, and the stories that you're telling. I tell you, I was sitting here in my meditation room, and as you were speaking, I almost forgot I was here. Like when you were telling the story about the
Mhm.
satchel, and you were telling the story about the how your Sharon, what's the name of the
Sharon Robinson.
Sharon Robinson. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you know how sometimes you watch a television show or a movie that's so good and you kind of have like this and you forget you're sitting in your couch, on your couch. I had that moment with you, beloved. And that's
Yeah.
always a really, really good thing. And so I
Yeah.
just want to say I appreciate you. Give maybe one what would be your last words for individuals that love to give or want to write a book, or just something that would encourage an individual, male or female,
Mhm.
as they begin their journey into living purposefully?
Yeah. The things that come to mind is I remember I talked about I belong to a cohort called Team No Excuses. So we don't make excuses for
Hmm.
anything.
Hmm.
No. How they say it is what it is or what have you. We just do it, right? There's no fear. I live by God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So I'm not scared to do anything. So if you operate in just that one thing alone, everything that God puts in your heart, you do it. So every day I say that prayer every day when I go out my gate. So that's in my spirit. It's in here. It's in my DNA. I cannot help it. When the gate opens, if I haven't said it before I got to the gate, I'm saying it. I'm saying it. This is my heart is feeling it, right? So there's nothing you can't do. And we've heard this before, but
Mhm.
the mind, programming the mind to know that you are not fearful and you can do everything. So in the cohort, I do everything that I put on the paper. The goals, the 4 books, I did the 4 books. Why? Because there's no excuses. Why? Because there's no fear. Because I am honoring God. I'm doing purpose. I'm doing what He said to do. If I do that part, God gives me everything. Even when I'm wondering about, well, God, I'm doing this thing I don't know, He shows up every time with the money to print the books, with the people who want the books, with the help to do whatever. It comes and it starts here.
Yeah.
Programming. Just, I'm not fearful. I can do anything. I'm not fearful.
Yeah.
I can do anything. Every day, every day.
Mhm.
Say one thing that's going to carry you, and that carries me. And then I do Job. He asked God, and God gave it to him. He just said, I need you to expand my territory. I need a whole bunch of stuff, God. You know, I need all the stuff.
Yeah.
And God said, well, okay. He asked, so simple. So I'm
Mhm.
asking you, God, I'm walking in expectation. I'm Job. I'm so much Job. I look like Job. I'm Job. And please, I don't even have to beg you because you said it's mine, right? So
Yes.
those 2 prayers I do every day. My daughter does those 2 prayers,
Mhm.
and I've been
Mhm.
doing that for years. And my territory is expanded, and I
Yeah.
get what I ask for all the time. And I don't have to know how He's going to do it, how He's going to give it to me.
Mhm.
Just don't live on that. Those
Live
two
on
things.
that.
Live on that.
Live on that. I love that. Well, listen, audience, ladies and gentlemen, you have just been on a beautiful, sultry, dynamic journey with Michelle Hardy. We're going to give Michelle. Go ahead, Michelle. Absolutely. Yes, that's what we're doing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what we are doing. And we
Yeah.
want to say thank you, Michelle. Listen, I'm going to put you in our green room and I'll be right back, okay? So, listen, everyone, that was a dynamic and beautiful just interview. I think this woman is so fantastic. And every single thing that she is doing, she's living purposefully. She's very transparent. We had some conversation in the green room before I brought her on, and we were talking about. Sometimes we go through things in life and sometimes we may not necessarily understand it, but it's okay. You don't have to always understand everything at that particular time. We were talking about our daughters, and so I just want to say, listen, every single thing that you have in your head, in your mind, you can accomplish. She's just shown you that you can accomplish it, right? So go to michellehardy.org, get whatever you need, whether it's information, whether you need to contact her, and listen, go ahead and buy the books, buy every single one, because she's not just telling you something that she read. She's actually living out. She is an author. She's a self-published author as well. And she's willing to go through the process and show you. She already gave you those platinum nuggets here. And so I want to say to our guests, to Michelle, thank you so much. And as I said before, individuals have asked me, oh, do I have to be a published author to come on your show? No, beloved, you don't have to be a published author to come on the show. You just have to be B-E, capital B, capital E, right? And want to come on and talk about purpose living, right? You have to be doing something, activating, executing here on this planet called Earth. And so, as always, if you have a husband or a wife, love on them. Let them know that they are important to you. Love is not just what you say, it is also what you do and demonstrate. And if you have children, let your kiddos know that they are also important to your legacy because they really are. And even if they don't respond to your phone calls or your texts or however you getting the message to them, you're not responsible for how your children respond. You are responsible for how you respond and what you do. You better believe it. I am Anntoinettemarie Williams of Purpose Living, and I will see you next time. Be well. Take care. Hello, beloved. This is Anntoinettemarie. You know, I believe that every one of us is born with a purpose. No matter who you are, what you do, or how far you think you have to go, you have been tapped by a force greater than yourself to step into your God-given calling. And I also believe that each one of us has an essential role in the whole of humanity. You see, the purpose of me creating Anntoinettemarie Speaks is to offer the wisdom of experience from visionaries, artists, teachers, and trailblazers who have walked this road before you and who have shared their inspiration and lessons with me. So let's go. Let's take this journey together and let's discover the purpose for your life on this earth. This is Anntoinettemarie Williams.